Welcome to Fourth Post English, weekly dosage of Pakistani politics. Let's cut the drama. Pakistan these days isn't about politics. It's about legalizing control with no shame. The core of all this noise, the 27th Amendment. And more specifically, giving constitutional cover to Field Marshal role, or giving constitutional cover to legalizing role of establishment in power, or creating over-centralization again. How did this all become possible? It became possible with Supreme Court's rewriting of Constitution by giving away reserved seats won by PTI to government. And the most tragic part, they think all of this work. They think this plan is solid. The plan is simple: normalize emergency rule under the guise of constitutional legitimacy. So instead of coups, we'll now have parliamentary role for uniform. They are trying to give this entire hybrid mess a suit and a tie, hoping the world buys it. But let's look at the facts. The establishment has publicly dropped the mask. Their mouthpieces are openly admitted the elections were stolen and will continue to do so in future. 27th Amendment is being floated with vague promises, maybe 10-year terms for government, maybe judicial age extensions, maybe a legal cover for Field Marshal post. No one knows the real plan because the plan isn't meant to be known. It's meant to be forced. Meanwhile, the judiciary itself is in retreat. Take the recent judgment, signed and sealed, but not delivered. Orders issued, then buried. Justice Dogar gets bumped to Chief Justice, Islamabad High Court. What's the signal here? Say anything out of line and you are either transferred, humiliated, or worse, forgotten. And while the public stares in disbelief, PTI is cornered but not crushed. The recent press conference made it clear. Do what you want. Change laws, dissolve assemblies. We are not compromising. Echoing the same message as Khan. Even with defections, even with rigging, they are not begging. But this is what terrifies the system. That after all this brutality, after all this optics of control, Imran Khan hasn't blinked. That's why they are chasing a new script. If PTI won't bend, the constitution must. And in comes the bluff. America, Trump, Iran, and relevance. Because what better cover than chaos? Let's be real. Trump didn't end the war. He paused a mess for a while. First, he attacked Iran's facilities, then claimed victory. Next day, Iran retaliated. Trump thanked them. Ceasefire happened. And somehow, we turned that into Peace Prize movement for Trump. Shehbaz Sharif on the other end, Shehbaz Sharif is running to Iranian embassy to celebrate or standing with the Iran, as if hashtags were the strategy here. And all this while, Netanyahu hasn't even agreed to Trump's ceasefire plan. His own cabinet is falling apart. Meanwhile, Iran openly says they are restarting nuclear construction. So what are we celebrating here? A mere ceasefire? Now back home, Khwaja Asif says Trump-Asim Munir meeting was personal. ISPR says we are neutral. Ishaq Dar says establishment is with us. And everyone keeps pretending like this global confusion is a masterstroke. It's not. Trump's domestic situation is unraveling in America. Polls show his popularity is hitting record low for any president at this stage. His big beautiful peace deal, the Abraham Accords, are stuck. Israel doesn't want compromise. Iran isn't even picking up the phone. Trump is playing bluff with no cards. And what have we achieved? A mere talks for ceasefire in Gaza? Is that what this war was about? With never-ending deadline? And if ceasefire happens, Trump will force for big beautiful peace deal, commonly known as Abraham Accords. So where will Pakistan stand then? With optics in this recent war, with military tilting towards West by visiting USA, Air Force Chief is visiting just after Army Chief, yet we try to pretend that we are creating a balance between China and USA. It's not possible. Even if with total control. But our ruling elite is acting like they have secured American Thapki, the holy grail of Pakistani politics. Based on what? A handshake in DC and a photo op? If this is your foreign policy anchor, prepare to get drawn. Because with visible cracks in government, such as talks of giving total control to Pakistan Muslim Nawaz, which will lead to make Pakistan People's Party irrelevant. And if the plans are to bring centralization again, like revisiting the 18th Amendment, change rules in water distribution, it will politically not suit PTI or Pakistan People's Party, but it will not suit the country too, because decentralization was the only way to keep Pakistan as federation after 1971. And they say that they read about, establishment says that they read about 1971 books, this much fat books on 1971, self-accountability. And let's talk about the real gamble here, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The plan to break PTI has backfired. Maulana is backing out of this KPK change of government plan. Amal Wali is backing out. He's becoming revolutionary out of nowhere. The perception in KPK is shifting from anti-PTI to anti-state. And that's a fire no one can manage. KPK is already fragile. You have drone strikes there, which are being done by militants and not army. Militant activities is booming there, and deep ethnic pride is present there. Push too far and the blowback won't stay regional. It will hit the system's very credibility. And yet, the establishment wants more. They want complete control over Punjab, KPK, even constitutionally over whole country. They're dreaming of a system where opposition is ornamental, judiciary is obedient, and parliament is extension of general headquarters. And when someone resists, label them anti-state. Let's also address this fantasy that crushing PTI will lead to stability. Will 10 PTI MNAs joining PMLN make Imran Khan irrelevant? Has any deal, any defection, any media blackout done that yet? No. Even from jail, he remains center of gravity. And that's precisely why they want him to accept this system, to belittle him or clean chit for silence. But he refuses. Now let's zoom out again. The Middle East isn't cooling. Israel hasn't stood down. Iran hasn't backed off. Trump is sending contradictory messages, promising ceasefire one day and then talking about 2 months. And then regime change is on the cards too. If Netanyahu isn't removed and if the regional power sharing doesn't happen, then this ceasefire is just an intermission. The war will be back, and this time with more desperation. In that environment, Pakistan's attempt to balance China and America is pure delusion. You can't sign off JF-35 deals one day and then pretend nothing was there, while also pretending to be neutral with America. America sees it through, China sees it through. You can't fool two world powers and expect them to not exploit your personal issues and hunger for power. Take recent example. Russia has recognized Afghanistan. How long will it take for India to follow suit? And while Pakistan, who saved Afghan government from the chaos, will look for American signal to recognize their own brothers, region is changing. Iran will grow. China will look towards Iran, while your optics will leave you nowhere. Relying on Trump will only bring breathing space. His long-term policy is to pull out of conflicts. So how long will Pakistan remain relevant in Trump's eyes? And as the pressure grows, internally and externally, what will happen at the maximum? Martial law, that's extreme, but not impossible yet. So for now, you will need a legal cover. And that's where the 27th Amendment really is. Call it an institutional role, call it a restructuring, call it an order. At its heart, it's a fallback option when democracy can't be sold anymore. A system too paranoid to negotiate, too proud to compromise, and too blind to see its own failures. So here we are, a constitution about to be distorted, a state chasing ghosts, a party that won't break, a region ready to explode, and a public learning, slowly but surely, that this pressure cooker only ends two ways. Either it explodes or someone finally turns off the heat. Until then, you can keep dreaming about absolute control. But remember this, power that needs amendments like the 27th and the talks about it, silence in people, and the foreign bluff to survive is never power, it's panic. And panic doesn't govern, it collapses.